How many times have you found yourself up in the late hours of the night? Maybe you're finishing off that assignment. Maybe you're binging on the new series of your favorite show in one night. Or maybe it's just stress keeping you up. Whatever it is, I bet you've noticed that sleep is super important to stay healthy and functioning, even on a day-to-day basis. But why? We'll explain some of the processes that happens in our brain, which may help you think twice about pulling all-nighters.
As part of the brain's normal functioning, it undergoes self-maintenance by removing worn-out components of neural activity throughout the day. It's a bit like housekeeping. To keep your house tidy, you'd sweep the floors and get rid of dust. So we can agree that some cleaning is a great thing. But if you get carried away with your cleaning, you could start getting rid of more features, like removing furniture if it's too dirty. This overworking is what happens when you lose too much sleep. Let's take a closer look at our bodies to see how this housekeeping activity actually works.
The cells that act as the cleaners are known as phagocytes. In the brain specifically, there are two main phagocytes we will focus on. Microglia are large motile cells that are permanent residents in the brain's tissue, providing a surveillance and scavenging function on unwanted material. Another kind are astrocytes, which are busy little star-shaped cells who form a network and have a variety of functions, including the cleanup. So how do phagocytes contribute to self-maintenance? Through a process called phagocytosis, also referred as cellular eating. We can think of this as being similar to the game of Pac-Man. Pac-Man works its way through the maze by eating the dots.
In actual practice, phagocytosis happens when the phagocyte cell engulfs other cells or material. The phagocyte extends its membrane and cytoplasm into structures called pseudopodia, which reach out and make contact with the material to be engulfed, surrounding and eventually closing around the debris. The material is transported in a membrane-bound package called a phagosome among the cytoplasm until it reaches the organelle called a lysosome, which releases digestive enzymes to break down the material. In the brain, however, a specific kind of phagocytosis occurs called synaptic pruning, which acts on cold neurons, aka nerve cells, and it is this which is affected by sleep loss. To understand this, first we need to know the structure of neurons. Neurons are the brain's basic processing units, which transmit and process electrical and chemical signals to create a complex network of information sharing. One end is the axon terminals, which releases the chemical messengers called neurotransmitters, and at the other end, branched structures called dendrites receive them. When a nerve cell transmits a signal to another, the space between them is called a synaptic gap. The axon, dendrite, and synaptic gap is collectively called the synapse.
So synaptic pruning, or synapse phagocytosis, is when microglia and astrocytes remove synapses by biting off just the end bits of the neurons, the axon and the dendrites. Have you ever downloaded so many apps or files on your laptop that it just slows down? Everything takes ages to load and things start glitching? Well, by simply deleting and closing down unneeded apps, you'll notice that your device chills out and will continue to work perfectly again. It's exact same with the synaptic pruning, which eliminates stressed, old and unwanted synapses, so your brain can function calmly and effectively. But like we said earlier, when you don't get enough sleep, this is where things get kicked into overdrive. When you're awake for prolonged periods, there's an increase in neuronal activity as information keeps being transmitted, so the neurons become tired and overused. Just like our housekeeping example, the phagocytes respond to this by upregulating synapse phagocytosis to clear worn-out components of these heavily used synapses.
The astrocytes will start doing this only after a short period of sleep loss, and the effect heightens with time awake. Microglia, on the other hand, must be activated to boost their synaptic pruning, and this only happens when you are restricted to excessive sleep. This activation happens when they detect eat me signals. They get excited and follow it, getting ready to chow down. Examples of these signals are proteins called C1q and C3, which tag unwanted synapses and are more active during chronic or severe sleep restriction. Microglia are also regulated by the MERTK gene, which is expressed more frequently after many hours awake.
So does this mean that our brain is eating itself? And should we be worried?
Some research shows that there could be detrimental effects of overpromotion of synaptic pruning, and has even gone to show that repetitive and intense periods of sleep loss could play a part in the development of neurodegenerative diseases in the long run, such as Alzheimer's.
But don't freak out. If you find yourself getting sleep less than normal every now and then, your brain is constantly adjusting so that at the end of the day, it can recover. Nevertheless, now you have a solid excuse you can back up with science and skip the alarm clock in the morning and sleep in. Sleep tight!